So I have a few Dead Space games left to play before the well runs dry, since EA made the Dead Space series bite the curb again. But I haven't started recording for Extraction yet. Aiden hasn't gotten on to record Dead Space 3 Melee in weeks. I refuse to play Dead Space Ignition until I'm strangled to. And I will hook up my Xbox 360 to play Severed when I finish the Extraction video. But I have one game up my sleeve that I didn't mention. One titan of its time. A monster of its platform. Let's get into it. Dead Space 2 is set to release in 2011. The year is 2010. And the prequel visual novel spin-off Dead Space Ignition sets the stage for the story. Most people fucking hated this game. A visual novel in the Dead Space franchise. Get the hell out of here. I mean, if I had wanted a good visual novel, I would have just booted up Class of 09 and just laughed for a bit.
Yeah, there's something I've been wanting to say lately.
Oh, what's that?
The N-word.
So EA pulls a wild card out of their asses. January 25th of 2011 rolls around, and Dead Space 2 drops into the metaphorical toilet of EA's mansion made of solid gold. They also squeak out a little stinker with it too. The same day Dead Space 2 came out, the mobile gamers were blessed with one of the best games they have ever played. Dead Space is the mobile game prequel to Dead Space 2. I know it just sounds like Dead Space 1 by the title, but it's different. It's also called Dead Space Mobile, Dead Space iOS, or very rarely have I heard, Dead Space Sabotage. Which is hard as fuck, by the way. This game takes the sins of other bad mobile games and throws it into the burning abyss it deserves to rot in, as it does none of that. It is a 4-hour-long, 12-chapter game with good mechanics, good level design, and a classic Dead Space experience. That's right, they made the mobile spin-off that is a prequel to the second game, an authentic Dead Space experience. A third-person shooter survival horror game on your phone. And it's simple, it's fun, and it worked. There were no ads for credits. If you wanted to buy credits or any of the armor upgrades that made the game easy for you babies out there, it wasn't shoved in your face. The game adds New Game Plus and more difficulties after completion too. Replayability in a single-player mobile game is insane, especially in the current times. All these positives sound great. I would love to play it. Let's go to the App Store and buy it. Except, you can't. EA pulled the game off the App Store in August 2015. If you owned it previously and try to install it on a modern phone, it won't work. That goes for trying to run an APK file of it too on Android devices. It's dysfunctional on modern tech because the game requires mandatory update files from EA servers that no longer exist. Which means I'm shit out of luck. I don't have an old Android phone, and even if I did, I couldn't get the needed files to run it or even get it on the App Store. So, I guess that's it. This is the one Dead Space game I'll never get to play. But I didn't give up. It has been 3 years since I knew this game existed, and for 3 years, I've been trying to find a workaround. I found app files, but they can't run on my current phone. I don't know how to jailbreak my phone, and I don't know what the hell an Android lollipop is. But then, it hit me. After years of nothing and false hopes, I had an idea. What if I take an APK of the game that's fully up to date, install a virtual machine to replicate an Android 7 device, and run it there? And so I did. And it was perfect. Until I got stuck in the tutorial level because the virtual machine did not recognize my phone's rotation, and thus I could not swap firing modes on the plasma cutter. Holy shit! But then a light at the end of the tunnel. I found a new virtual machine. And this one has way better settings and more options to tweak for better usage. And look at that. Right in the settings. 2 options I needed to enable were right there. The gyroscope and the accelerometer. And lo and behold, I can fucking alt-fire. It's happening. The Dead Space mobile playthrough is real. After years of wanting to experience it for myself, I finally get to experience this beautiful game. Now let's talk about it.
Good morning, everyone. Coming up on today's show, budget problems for the Sprawl.
We start off with a panning shot of Titan Station. If you look closely, you'll see a very bit-crunched 2D render of the Ishimura where it's placed in Dead Space 2.
Stable in public sector 3.
Environment screen on Sector 6 is still experiencing problems, and residents are preparing.
While it's panning, we hear a couple news radio broadcasts and CEC engineers talking about their shift replacement.
Environment check. Stable in public sector 1.
Alright, crew relief's here. Let's go home, guys. Just another beautiful day on the Sprawl.
We are that shift replacement, and the main character of Mobile. Also, we are a unitologist saboteur. Our name is Vandal, and we're a recent convert to the church.
Down to the core systems on the Shard. I hope I can do them proud. Baldwin be praised.
Okay, you're in position. Remember, your code name is Vandal. Under no circumstances tell anyone your real name, understand?
The
Your
guy
voice filter will keep
calling
you
us
anonymous
through
if
our
you begin
rig
with
is named Tyler. He's calling the shots and is also another unitologist who gives tips and leaves behind dead drops for us.
We've arranged some tools for you. You'll find a plasma saw in a locker up ahead.
The SHB-1 plasma saw is designed for dissection of heavy-duty materials in both on- and off-site locations. Users are advised to always wear protective clothing when the saw is in use.
We're here to shut down servers or pull cords or something on the government sector of Titan Station.
Now let's get started. What we're doing here is vital to the cause. I'll be with you every step of the way. Start by using your plasma saw there to take out the power boxes in this room. There should be 3 of them. Perfect. 1 room down. Now you need to keep up the pace. Move on to the next.
Attention. Rig number 442. This type. No.
There's a plasma cutter waiting for you in a locker near the server room.
The 211V plasma cutter is suitable for everyday chipping and trimming tasks in the mining environment. Standard mode projects a single long-range energy blast. Rotation of the device switches between vertical and horizontal orientation, allowing for greater accuracy.
You'll need to rotate your plasma cutter to take some of these out. Great job. That's it for this room. one.
Number 86. Come in. The public has...
Tyler, what exactly are we doing here? This is pretty low-level stuff I'm taking out. I'm worried we're endangering the Sprawl systems.
Sorry, Vandal. You're not authorized to know that. Your engineering skills make you perfect for this task, but you're still a new convert to unitology. Relax and have faith. All I can tell you is that after today, the government will no longer stand in the way of the church. Should be some kinesis modules in this room coming up. See if you can find one while I work on these locks.
The Kinesis module acts as an extension of the user's limbs, allowing for remote manipulation of objects and equipment. Personnel should be aware of the object's true weight when working in populated areas.
Use kinesis to clear this crap out of the way. That means you succeeded. Excellent job, Vandal. What you've done here today will stand in church history forever. You're a hero. Now get out of there and head to the church.
After cutting off various important pieces of something to the government sector, we accidentally unleash a necromorph outbreak.
Vandal, get out of there quick. Make for the tram.
They're coming in the walls! They're coming in the walls! Shit! Run for it! Everybody get ready! Just run!
I represent the church. Listen to me. What you see before you is your reward for today's accomplishment. You're to be one of the first blessed with ascension. The authorities are locking down the Sprawl, cutting off the mines, locking you in, but don't be afraid. Your death is glorious. A holy path to life beyond the death the church promised you. Ultimately,
This would happen. You lying sons of bitches. People were dying because of what we did. What I did. Fuck you. See how blessed you feel when the government hears about what you've done.
After realizing that unitology is batshit crazy and the outbreak must be stopped, Vandal swears off the church and finds a way to get to the tram station. Vandal gets a call from Director Tideman, who grills us about releasing the necromorphs by sabotaging the quarantine seals.
This is Director Tideman in the public sector. We've traced recent acts of sabotage to your suit. Identify yourself.
Call me Vandal. Listen, they didn't tell me what happened. I just did what the church told me. Now the bastards have left me for dead out here. So screw them, alright? I'll even testify if you want me to.
I don't think my colleagues will accept that. You've caused a lot of trouble, but there's a way to make up for some of the damage you've done. The emergency quarantine seal on crossover tube A has malfunctioned, and as an engineer, you have the tools to repair it.
Isn't there someone on your side that can do it? I'm fighting for my life down here.
You're much closer than anyone from the public sector. If you're truly remorseful, this is your chance to show it. Repair that seal and it'll keep those monsters from reaching the population. It may even gain you some leniency, assuming you survive. Now hurry.
Vandal agrees and gets moving. The journey will take us through the government sector and the Titan mines, which is where we head first.
Attention. Emergency quarantine lockdown is now commencing. All crossover tubes between government and public sectors will be closed immediately.
Open the lockdown! There are people still in here! Bastards have a shut-off! Gotta be a way out! Keep checking!
What the hell?
Now entering government sector underbelly.
Vandal, are you there? Vandal, come in.
Tyler, you son of a bitch, you left me for dead.
No, I swear. I didn't know what they were doing. I only just found out myself. I've been trying to reach you. They've locked the whole place down.
Not quite. The quarantine seal on crossover 2A is broken. We can get out and fix it behind us.
You can, maybe. I'm nowhere near your location. I'm sorry, but I can still help you. Make for the tube, and I'll be with you every step of the way, I promise. Maybe we can both get out of this.
Those bastards really screwed us, didn't they? All right, I'm heading that way now. At least maybe we can stop this thing from spreading.
You'll find a disc ripper nearby. Should come in handy.
The RCDS remote control disc ripper features multiple titanium blades and rotates at up to 17,000 RPM. For situations requiring heavy-duty custody and accurate range control,
Remember, you gotta move in close to use your plasma saw.
And we should talk about whatever the fuck this thing is. The original version of Dead Space Sabotage wouldn't have had this thing popping up at all. That's because the APK file running on a modern day phone is still not a perfect solution when it's on a VM. Due to this, very small glitches can occur. I call this small because you can still play the game with no issue. This stretched texture is a dismembered necromorph limb that can't decide what to do with itself, so it just mutilates itself across the screen. But it is just a small visual bug and it despawns at some point, so no biggie. I found it happens way more frequently on tram fights or when you use the line gun's alternate fire. While in the mines, Vandal begins to notice the hallucinations induced by the marker. Either hallucinating and becoming a necromorph,
What the fuck is going on?
You're being hysterical. I need you to focus.
or seeing a doppelganger that mirrors the player's inputs.
Hey, who's down here?
Incoming transmission.
Vandal, this is Director Tideman. You must hurry. The monsters are gaining speed, and you still have water and food processing between you and the crossover tubes.
I'm going as fast as I can, Tideman. It's not exactly an open road.
Of course, as is Dead Space standard, that takes more steps to do than just one.
Systems restored. Initiating lockdown. Quarantine lockdown lifted. processing.
Now at the water plant, we pick up a line gun.
IM-822, handheld ore cutter line gun, is recommended for cutting operations that require more power than a plasma cutter can provide. Standard mode is horizontal only, and a secondary mode ejects a timed explosive plasma charge.
And absolutely barreling through a bunch of quarantines.
Hey Tyler, you never told me where you're from.
I shouldn't really say. But I guess secrecy's hardly important now. I was born on Mars. Couldn't wait to get off world. How about you?
I was born in space. Colony ship Borealis. I've never been to Earth or Mars. What's it like?
Mars? It's a shithole. You're not missing anything.
In between Necromorph slaughtering sessions, Tyler and Vandal banter. Also, he drops a very odd hint about using line guns on big targets.
The line gun's pretty damn powerful. Use it on any big guys you come across.
As a big brute thunder cunts a corpse into the ground and begins attacking Vandal.
Alright, Vandal, listen up. I already met one of these things. Just stay calm and focus. The front's covered in plating, so you need to get behind it and cut it up. You can do this, I know you can.
This was my first close call to death during this game. I kept getting too close to the brute when I dropped a bunch of explosive mines on his ass, but other than that, the brute isn't too bad of a fight. Our journey through the water processing plant takes us through 3 reservoirs. We do this to catch a tram on the other side of the plant. Honestly, a lot of places we travel to aren't to fix anything. It's more like, go to this place, and then get to the tram on the other side of this place, to go to another place with a tram on the other side of the place, then you can take... So, yeah, we take the tram at the far end of the water plant to get to the food processing, where Tiedemann tells Vandal he failed the public reputation save, and the Titan Station public sector is panicking all over the place.
This is Director Tiedemann. People are starting to panic over here in the public sector, Vandal. Are you still en route?
I'm not exactly taking a vacation over here either, Tiedemann. But yes, I'm still heading for the crossover tube. How long do I have?
It's impossible to
This area has a lot of tricks up its sleeve. Hallucinations can cause Vandal to walk through one room and end up in the room before it.
day of your life.
So no pressure then. I've gotta go.
Following trails of blood to the correct door to progress through the chapter. From the food plant, you can move into the fuck is a flesh racking center even used for? Why are they racking flesh? Either way, this area has another doppelganger hallucination that turns into a necromorph. I ended up not getting grappled by this one because instead of walking headfirst into it, I backed up into it and confused the hell out of that necromorph. After more flesh rooms and Tyler being a funny bastard,
Man, you really like these locked doors, don't you? Hold on. Alright, that should do it.
we move into the food storage rooms, which are just more lockdowns. However, we get rewarded by getting to equip the new gun of the game, the Core Extractor. It's an extremely destructive weapon that fires a large beam of plasma that can instantly chop enemies apart, or it can fire a piss laser that melts everything it touches. We test it out approximately 5 seconds later by violently tearing apart a brute with it. The next stop is finally the crossover tube.
Listen carefully. The first thing you have to do is open the door to the public sector.
Are you nuts? That door's the only thing keeping the monsters on this side of the sprawl.
Not if the seal's broken, it's not. Listen to me. Opening that door during a quarantine lockdown will set off the emergency fail-safes and lock down all the doors. Not just the tube, but the hub as well. It's the quickest way. Just take out the door security.
All right, I get it. Here goes. Stand by.
Where we just have to press a button and he's tricking us, isn't he?
You truly lived up to your name.
The power's down. All the doors are jammed open. What have you done?
I didn't do anything, but you've done what's right. How do you think I felt, helping you kill all those ascended souls? But I made that sacrifice, and now you've redeemed yourself too.
You son of a bitch, Tyler.
Nothing will stop the spread of enlightenment.
I'll kill you.
And here come the enlightened now. Don't be afraid. Your sacrifice will be remembered forever as mankind moves to its new existence.
I don't think so. The public sector's still on lockdown, and without power, nothing's gonna open that door.
Oh, don't worry about that. We just had to get them into the tube. I've gotta go. Remember, this is the life beyond death we are all promised.
Fuck you, Tyler. I'm not just gonna sit here and die. There's got to be a way.
Yeah, so Tyler lied to Vandal about not knowing that the necromorphs would appear, and then tricked us into unleashing them into the crossover tube, which would lead to an outbreak spreading to the civilian sector.
Now entering Titan Shard exterior.
This is Director Tideman. What the hell did you do? We've lost all power to the quarantine seals. You were supposed to fix them, but you made it worse.
I know. God, I'm sorry. They tricked me. I was trying to set off the emergency protocol. I didn't know, I swear.
You fool! I'm working on a solution. I believe I have a way to defeat the monsters, but I need more time, and now there's another problem. The Shard's reactor core has become unstable. It's overheating, no doubt due to your sabotage machinery, and if it isn't fixed soon, it will go critical.
But those systems shouldn't affect the reactor core.
Well, they have. If the core breaches, the entire sprawl will be destroyed. You must get to the core and repair it, and perhaps this time you can successfully redeem yourself.
I can't go back inside. There's just too many monsters in there.
You don't have to. The quickest route to the reactor core is to cross the shard itself around the exterior.
Tideman calls us to say how pissed he is and that the reactor is overheating, and if we don't fix it, he won't be able to think of a new way to quarantine the necromorphs before we all explode. So, our final leg of the journey is to get to the reactor. This trip requires us to go through spacewalks in between moments of necromorph assaults. Until we run into... Is this Dune?
I don't know what's real anymore.
That was fucking weird. After going on another spacewalk, an enhanced brute makes its appearance and tries to kill Vandal, who, after fighting it off, gets attacked by 2 more brutes, but not before... My phone dies. Oh, never mind, we're back in Dune. After enduring a bunch of hallucinations, Vandal is prompted to face your fears. The fake Vandal shows up and I swing a plasma saw directly in its face. Turns out, I just swung at nothing. And with the reactor up ahead, I load up on ammo, use all my power nodes, and set off for the final mission. Vandal jumps into the bottom of the reactor, only to be greeted by a giant hulking beast that's been leeching off the reactor.
It wasn't the sabotage that did this. That thing's suffocating the entire core.
If it isn't dealt with, the whole station will go up in flames. So, deal with it we do. In its final moments, this stupid bastard yanks Vandal into the reactor, and all that's left is a helmet on the ground. Until Vandal climbs up from the hole in the ground to reveal that we have not been playing as John Dead Space. We haven't even been playing as a guy at all. Vandal, real name Carrie Norton, slumps down on a railing, critically wounded, and tells Tiedemann the job is done. As credits roll, we see Carrie has disappeared, leaving behind nothing but a helmet and a trail of blood.
Is complete.
And that's Dead Space Sabotage. From this point, you can check out a bunch of concept art or jump into New Game Plus. But that's the end of the story. It's really a tragic thing that this game hasn't been very well preserved, or even given the recognition it deserves. This game was rated better than Dead Space 3. It won Best Mobile Game of 2011 and iPad Game of 2011. And it set an amazing example of what mobile games could be and should strive to be. Thank you all for joining me on this adventure, and I'll see you in another video.